Welcome back, everyone. Let's go ahead and take a look between the iPhone SE 3rd generation that just came out and the iPhone 12 and see which specific iPhone you should go and pick up. Now, I do think the 12 is the better one, but the SE 3 is better in some areas. If you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can see there definitely are some differences. Both these phones are being sold brand new by Apple. This one is $699, I believe, and this one is $429. So about $200 something difference between them, or however which way you want to cut it. Now, on the front of the iPhone 12, you have a beautiful 6.1-inch Super Retina OLED display. It's a very good panel. I've been talking about it for a couple years now, and it seems pretty good. I don't really have too many things to complain about it here. I think overall, the lack of 120 hertz and things, it's not really that big of a deal. Even the notch isn't that big of a deal to me, honestly. So I think this panel is great. And I do think it's overall a better design than the iPhone SE 3. This phone has that 4.7-inch panel, and like I mentioned, it's not a bad panel itself, it's just everything surrounding the panel is quite outdated. I mean, you have the thick bezel up top, thick bezel at the bottom. The home button is cool. I like having a home button, I guess. I love Touch ID, but I would definitely tell you I wish Touch ID could have been implemented within the display, just like how we have it on a lot of other phones. And I wish there's not like this like cutoff where we have to like choose one or the other, but I would say the iPhone 12 definitely has a better design than the iPhone SE 3. In terms of thinness and thickness, the iPhone 12 is a thicker phone, as you guys can see. The iPhone SE 3 is a smaller phone in pretty much every single area, including the thickness. So you're definitely getting a thinner phone on the iPhone SE 3. Now in the back, we kind of have the same exact setup. We have glass backs on both with a dual camera setup on the iPhone 12, single camera setup on the iPhone SE 3. We have wireless charging on both. We have, glass backs IP certification and everything like that, and they both kind of feel like the same phone. One phone doesn't feel much more premium than the other one, but the iPhone 12 is probably the one I would choose for, at least in the body standpoint. Now, a very interesting thing, and one reason why the iPhone 12 may be a little bit of a different type of device than the SE3 is because the iPhone SE3 has the Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it. Why is that important? Well, the iPhone 12 actually has a year older chipset than the SE3, which is so crazy. They have the same amount of RAM, so there should be better speed on the iPhone SE3, but it's very weird that a phone that looks like this will last longer than a phone that looks like that. That's kind of a funny thing to think about. So in terms of longevity, the iPhone SE3 is probably going to win, but another very big thing to keep in mind is that there's only a year difference between the chipset, and this phone is still going to be lasting for quite a bit of time too. It's not like this phone's going to be, ending tomorrow. This phone's going to be lasting for many, many years to come. Most probably, if you own this phone, you're going to upgrade before you even think about the software is ending or whatever like that. So in terms of that covers it up there. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 12 has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM. The iPhone SE3 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one is the faster one. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see the display. The glare is really annoying. So let's get into it. iPhone SE3 here, 12 is here. Phone call is 3, 2, 1. And couldn't really tell that big of a difference. Music 3, 2, 1. And almost the same thing. These are always on different panels. I don't know why. I try to load them at the same thing, but they don't always work like that. Settings 3, 2, 1. Pretty much the same thing. App Store 3, 2, 1. And I don't know why. Sometimes the iPhone SE3's panel randomly doesn't open up the way I want it to. So that's kind of unfortunate. Let's click the first thing. Kind of the same thing. Let's just go and scroll through here. And I think they're going to be about the same. Let's go and hop out of there. Let's go into the camera 3, 2, 1. And pretty much the same thing. Let's go and get into photos 3, 2, 1. I think they're about the same thing too. They're almost like neck and neck to one another. Mail 3, 2, 1. SE3 I think was slightly faster. Clock 3, 2, 1. I think the SE3 was slightly faster there too. And as always, we have a bunch of these third-party applications we can go and test out. So let's get into it. Let's do Facebook 3, 2, 1. And the SE3 was faster there. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into Fruit Ninja 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone SE3 was faster. The iPhone 12 a little bit behind. Again, nothing crazy, but definitely was faster on the SE3. Stack 3, 2, 1. iPhone 12 actually was faster there. Very surprising. Thank you 3, 2, 1. iPhone SE3 was faster there too. Let's go and get into Snake First Blocks 3, 2, 1. iPhone SE3 was faster again. Gameplay wise, they're probably going to be roughly around the same. Netflix 3, 2, 1. I think the iPhone SE3 was faster again. Let's go and get into Quizlet 3, 2, and I guess I don't have it. Let's do Dropbox, which I also do not have. Let's go to Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And the very good thing is that the iPhone 12 is actually slower. So although the iPhone SE3 is a weirder phone than the 12, I'm glad that we're seeing some speed increases on the SE3 because that was the biggest selling point of this specific iPhone. Now you can see with this game, slightly a little bit faster on the iPhone 12, but still very close. That could also be from the delay of me clicking one over the other. Could be that. Snapchat 321. iPhone SE3 is faster. Let's go and get into something like Twitter 321. I may be logged in here, and I'm not, but the SE3 was still faster. And honestly, that covers up a majority of these applications I wanted to test. Now, I will tell you from what I just saw, the iPhone SE3 is looking to be the faster one more times than not. I think there were like 2 or 3 times where the iPhone 12 was faster. But I will tell you things like, hopping out of a, specific application. Let's look at this, 3, 2, 1. You can see I'm just able to just get out of an application so fast, getting into recents 3, 2, 1. And I couldn't even get that one done. I'll definitely tell you the experience is going to be, I think, more fluid and probably seem faster on the iPhone 12, although application loading speed is faster on the iPhone SE3. So better performance on the iPhone SE3, but I do like the gestures on the iPhone 12. So that kind of covers it up there. Now let's go and quickly hit on the cameras, which there's a dual camera setup like I mentioned on the iPhone 12, so you're getting a wide and ultra wide sensor, which is great. The iPhone SE3 is, a single wide angle lens, which I think is okay too. I will tell you 4K at 60 on the back of both of them. The iPhone SE3 can only do 1080p on the front, where the iPhone 12 can do 4K at 60 on the front, so that's a really big thing to keep in mind. With something like the iPhone SE3, like I mentioned, I think this was a great camera maybe like 5 years ago, but nowadays it is kind of dated. You do have video mode, obviously you have time-lapse slow-mo, you have portrait mode as well, which is nice, but you don't have a crazy amount of features like we used to before. I think things like, taking photos outside and possibly even like social media applications like Snapchat and TikTok, those are going to be fine for the most part. You're really not going to feel like this is a super outdated camera in that standpoint, but it is coming to a point where 4K at 60 on the front would be nice. Having an ultra-wide sensor telephoto lens would be nice too, and we don't have that on this iPhone. Now with something like the iPhone 12 on the other hand, we do have that ultra-wide sensor, which is really, really nice. Having that capability of just utilizing an extra lens like that is really cool. Even though it lacks that telephoto lens, it's still really nice to have this extra lens just hanging out there. You still have, the ability of zooming in a lot. You still have portrait mode. The same modes are pretty much on both, so it's not like one iPhone is going to have better modes than the other one, but it is nice to have that additional ultra-wide sensor. So I say that to say the iPhone SE3's camera is still pretty good, but I do like having that iPhone 12 camera. I think it is a little bit better when it comes down to it. And to be honest, that kind of takes us to the end of this video. I do think that the iPhone 12 is probably the better phone to go and pick up. I think this thing has way more capability than the iPhone SE3. The main advantage you're getting with the SE3 is that it's a faster phone, and it's going to last longer, and it's a cheaper phone. But even then, I would still probably recommend something like an iPhone 12, even an iPhone 11, even an iPhone 10R. I think the design is a little bit outdated. You're kind of lacking a few things. Like that gesture-based design I think is really important. I think Touch ID is really cool. The design doesn't even hurt me that much. It's the battery life on this phone isn't really that great, as far as I can tell. And because it is a $429 phone, it's not necessarily like a cheap phone. I think people think this phone is like $100. That's not the case. This is a pretty expensive phone compared to even an iPhone 11 that is $499. So take it as you will, but when it comes down to these two phones, I would probably recommend buying an iPhone 12, even though it has like a year older chipset than this phone. I think that one's still the better one, but the iPhone SE3, if it's your only choice, go for it. But I think the iPhone 12 is probably the one I would recommend buying. So that kind of covers it up there. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.